Imagine waking up from a nap, paralyzed for life. He turns anger into inspiration.
Feeling like a victim was the last thing I wanted to feel.
Who owns the definition of who you are?
They know. Do you? That's coming up right now on Montel.
Alan, who are you?
I'm a husband, I'm a father, I'm a writer, I'm a teacher.
Could you imagine what would happen? This is crazy. You were laying in bed, alarm clock goes off, you reach over, you smack the alarm clock, ain't been sick, not sick, nothing wrong with you, not the cold flu, nothing. Hit the alarm clock, and then you try to put your legs on the floor, and they're not moving. And you know, you go, wait a minute, try to move, and in less than an hour, you were paralyzed from the waist down, and no one can tell you why. Find out what happened to my next guest when we come back. We'll be back right after this.
And I started to get out of bed, and I just fell on the floor. And I was paralyzed at that point. As it turned out, paralyzed for the rest of my life. I was a pretty normal guy. I had a wife and 2 kids and a career as a freelance writer in television. And we were doing just fine until I took a nap.
And what if you laid down and took a nap and woke up and something horrible happened? Would you become withdrawn, depressed, or would you use that to just begin your fight? Please welcome Alan to the show. Welcome in. I cannot believe you literally went in, took a nap.
Right.
And when you woke up from that nap, what happened? What did you feel?
Well, I was just nodding off, and I felt this, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this incredible pain around my stomach, like a branding iron around my waist. And it only lasted like a minute and a half, and then it went away, and then I just started feeling this strange kind of restlessness. I didn't know what was going on. I thought I maybe had the flu, you know, I had a back pain from the flu or a back spasm. And over the next hour and a half, I became more and more, my walking, I started to wobble. I almost felt like I was drunk, you know, I was wobbling around like a drunken sailor. And then at one point I was trying to go from the bathroom to the bed, and I realized that it was taking me like 5 minutes to go 10 feet because my legs were so heavy. I was picking them up as I was walking, like I was walking in molasses. And then I got into bed, and I was very frightened at that point, and I decided maybe I should get up and move again, and I started to get out of bed, and I just fell on the floor. And I was paralyzed at that point, as it turned out, paralyzed for the rest of my life.
But wait, you called the doctor, 911.
I called 911, yeah. Right.
Here comes the ambulance, they take you in, you still don't think you're paralyzed.
I didn't think I was paralyzed for about 3 years. Because do you get up and think about being paralyzed?
No,
it's not something. It's such a strange experience. And I was diagnosed with a disorder called transverse myelitis.
Which is?
Which is a kind of inflammation of the spine, which is usually caused by a virus that gets into your spine, and then your immune system attacks it, and when it's all over, you've damaged your spine. But in my case, in 2/3 of the cases of people who get transverse myelitis, there's recovery. So I was told right away, as I was told what I had.
As soon as the inflammation goes down, we get the swelling down.
Yeah, you'll be fine. You know, then you got 6 months, 8 months, something will happen, and you'll get your mobility back, and that really kept me going for the first year. That hope of being able to walk again kept me going through this very, very strange experience of basically having to say goodbye to half of your body.
Yeah, but wait a minute. Whoa. That kept you going. Let's back up for a second. Your life came to a screeching.
Yes,
Hold on a minute. Things are not the same. I can't get up and go to walk out the door, get in the car, and drive to work.
Can't go run.
Can't drive that.
Can't play baseball with my kid.
Hey, so you're jumping from A to S. You know, but let's go A to B for a second. How did your family react to this?
Well, you know what? You'll have to ask them, because I went inside my head. You withdraw when something like this happens simply to try to figure out what it is. It's not that you're withdrawing from the world. It's not that you're giving up. You're just trying to figure out what it is, because like you said, your life is totally different. It's like, at least you certainly feel that way, until you regain some sense of normalcy, and that can take a couple of years.
Absolutely. Please welcome Alan's wife, Anne-Marie, to the show. Anne-Marie, thank you so much for being here. He said it right. I got to ask you. You were home that morning when he initially complained and said, I don't feel good, something's weird, right?
Right. And I said, oh, you've got the flu. and I went off to the dentist. And when I was at the dentist, I got called, and the dentist said, I think something really awful has happened. And so I came back to see him being wheeled out by paramedics, and certainly not anything I ever anticipated to see. And from there, it was just complete shock.
Yeah, but you know what? Wait, when you say from there, that's what he just said. So I'm not, don't look at him. Don't look at him anymore. Do not look at him anymore.
Okay.
Look at me, okay? Because here's what I got to figure out. There are some wives like yourself, not like yourself. Some people in this country, wives or husbands, when something like this hits, that's where the rubber meets the road, okay? I mean, honestly, right there, all that garbage you claimed to believe when you stood in the church and said, for better, for worse, richer for poor, sicker for health, that should be hitting you upside the head like a brick, and it hit you upside the head.
Yeah.
So why did you not run?
Well, I think because we've been together for a very long period of time. You know, I think that really counts. That really, we had a history.
But explain to people, you had the history, you loved this man, felt for him, he's pushing you away. Don't you say a word. He was pushing you away.
Right.
You know he was.
Yeah.
He climbed into a corner, got in a room by himself, closed the door, wouldn't talk to you, leave me alone, trying his best to push you out the door.
That's true.
Why didn't you run?
Well, boy, I certainly felt lonely, I'll tell you that. But my family, I don't know, somehow your life has to go on. And 4 days after this happened, I think it's probably a good illustration. My young son Max had a soccer game, and I was helpless, I was a mess. I couldn't do anything, I was very depressed. And I said, Max, you know, your last soccer game is Saturday, you don't really have to go. And he said, what? It's trophy day, I've got to go. And so, you know, there I was, participating in life again, I guess, you know.
And had to.
Had to.
And then, okay, I'm gonna take a break. When we come back, why don't you tell us how you, because I know it was a part of the strength that you have. He wrote the book, but it's part of the strength that you had that got him to start participating in life again. So tell me how you did that when we came back. We'll be back right after this.